please stop holding your lapel when you're speaking?
Why?
It's distracting.
It's distracting. Okay, you can hear me loud and clear. Okay. Yeesh, I'm getting this is what you must do when you're on tape. In the background, let me just start here and say in the background, we got Lebo Kepadisa.
It's you.
That's Setswana, no?
Sort
Yeah, and she's that person. Usually to get to me, you'd need to get to her. And I don't know if you can hear her on the microphone. If you can, if you cannot, then we'll be having like a little chat. But I just want to run through, a couple of things where I've always wanted to do this portion, this segment of my channel where I try to speak to people and so they can understand my ideology, my thinking and all. And if you've ever known me, you know that I'm a directly to the point kind of person. And I'm the guy that loves to get things done and, express himself. But I want to start off by, I announced running for mayor in September 2025, but I only blew up on the 16th of December 2025 because, all these internet platforms, TikTok, Facebook, and, these platforms, someone like Nexus News or some people like Nexus News said, Mozambican running for mayor, Mozambican citizen running for mayor, and I blew up. Now, at the time I blew up, I couldn't do like live interactions because, I was coming from Durban at the time, and talking about blow up, my tire blew up at 10 p.m. on the 16th, and it's a holiday. I'm trying to look for a tire and all. And then eventually, I got a tire the next day. I had to sleep there on the road. And then eventually I got a tire and then, drove back home. And then I saw all this hate comment. And they were like, hey, you must go back to your country. Go run there in Mozambique. They need you.
Funny thing about that is, do people actually know where you're from?
I mean, you know what? I'll say this part because, there's a whole documentary where I'm going to run through, where I'm from, how I came about. But the question becomes, why did people insist on being so angry? Why did they decide that because the internet said it is true? Why did they decide what they said makes sense? Mozambican citizen running for mayor of Johannesburg. Goodness, you have to be a South African citizen to run for mayor. How does it make sense?
The problem, I think, is the way South Africans actually, their mentality. If you are an image that is outside of the norm and what we are used to, some sort of anger is going to develop because, number one, I know you're South African, but they don't think you're South African because your voice is quite different. You look different. You have blue eyes.
You are Jesus. Apparently, that's what I'm.
Jesus. You are
Yeah.
definitely not from South Africa, but because your intellect, also what I realize is your intellect is so good and the way you articulate things, your voice is different. They automatically will have some sort of anger. And I think I spoke to you about this being the nervous system and how people do not know how to actually regulate it correctly. If something is outside of the norm or something that you are not used to.
But because your question is long, let me actually answer the first portion of it.
Okay.
Where why am I different or how am I different? I don't know. I guess a voice box is a voice box. I can try to talk like this if you want to. But the thing is that people just want to be angry because of their education. Now, let's speak about the education part, right? I'm different because I'm well educated. I've traveled around the world. I come from a privileged background and all. So the way I was tailored is not the way a regular South African has been tailored. Good and well. Kudos to my mom and dad. But hate from South Africans is not because I'm different. It's hate because they attach it to other Black countries. And it's like a feeling to want to be superior to everyone else because they're inferior to white people. I'm going to say that again. It's like, we South Africans, it's important to feel superior to the rest of Africa because we feel inferior in our own country by white people. That is because of education. People will be like, no, it's apartheid. Apartheid was the one that made sure that yes, it's only partial, but we have time to make our choices. 32 years later, you telling me apartheid was so strong that it takes away the ability to make a choice. I mean, hence why I'm running for the city of Johannesburg, because there are just two political parties that we have to make sure that we get out of the way. And who are those two political parties? The Crips being the Blue Party, DA, and ANC. I mean, it's not like I personally have hate for them. I mean, for both sides of the parties, there's so many people that I know on an individual level before I even ran for politics. But the thing is that the ethos in there is just really bad. Now, it feels like if you had to like choose from one of these two, it's either you vote for the people that will steal from you, and they've done this historically, or the people that are going to oppress you. And they've also been doing that historically. Now, here's the thing is that just because they're white, they will oppress you. Let me qualify that. No. You know, I love white people level. I love white people like I love black people. I'm not going to hate white people because of apartheid. I love white people. But you know what's the crazy part is like, they're like, yeah, he wants to be white this one, eh? He wants to be white so bad. I don't think white people are sitting there like, yo, hey, Holstein, you know, you've been really white this week, eh? You've been doing great. Just continue the white thing and you'll be one of us.
Let's go back with that. In terms of people saying that you're trying to be white, do you think that is attached to the education?
Yeah, partly. When we say education, we're not referring down to just, you know, like traditional education or circular education. This is education as social as a whole. You see, we black people, and it's funny enough, this is throughout the world. This is not just, you know, South Africa, but usually the more where black people are more empowered. So the United States has the most empowered black people by far. Second to that is South Africa, with the argument of Brazil. Is that black people, the moment you try and do good and get out of your neighborhood to do the right things the right way, to find yourself in the circular system, you're trying to be white. I mean, that's the justification for them. Who do you think that you're good enough to clean, wear a tie? You're trying to be white. Now you're trying to speak well and be articulate. You're trying to be white. You know? Oh, you're wearing a suit and tie. What happened to you when you were there? You're trying to be white.
Do you not think that has to do with identity?
That's a really good question. Does it have to do with identity? Definitely it has to do with identity. But the thing is, why does trying to be better in the best way that you can means white? How have white people fooled? I don't know if they actually did that. How have they fooled you into thinking that doing any good should be something you should hate amongst yourselves because you're trying to be that? It's not like white people are welcoming to, hey, you've done well, eh? Chepu, yeah, you've been really white this week, eh? Come hang out with us. It's not something white people do.
I think it is so. I think in some way of shape or form, we were instilled with this thing of if we do get out of the box, we're in trouble. And it has trickled down to every generation that is here.
Well, it missed this guy. Here's the thing, Level. I think most people don't know this. I'm mixed race. I'm a dark-skinned mixed race guy. And this story. I found out my mother was colored in 10th grade. I had no idea. You know, I expressed this to my parents not too long ago. And my mom just looked at me. She's like, how did you not know? I'm like, because you guys didn't tell me.
So you thought she's just light-skinned?
I didn't think she was light or dark-skinned. I just thought, Mom, do you think Michael Jordan's kids are out there like, yo, Michael Jordan? No, they're like, Dad, right? So because there was an oppressive system that was out there that taught people that white is evil, black is good, or black is evil and white is good, it was left out of my curriculum, right? So when I got into the whole system where white people started integrating within South Africa, because where I lived didn't have apartheid, right? But it was within South Africa. I didn't know that one was superior to the other. It's like nobody taught me that superiority was a thing. Like,
you see the aspect of you saying nobody taught you. Do you think the fact that the way black people are, I'm not saying it in a bad way, but it's because there was no education that actually says you can be better?
I think the education to say that you should not be better was there.
Mm.
You know, they insisted that black people, you're not good enough to be good enough. Stay here. Relate with pain. Relate with poverty. You're synonymous with that. You know, I still have a gripe with what Nota said. Nota, my dear brother, they said being black is synonymous with poverty. I said, how come I'm not synonymous? How come I don't feel it? I'm like, it's simple. The education that you've been taught was told you to say that. It says white people see us that way. And if I see you that way, don't mean you are that way. I mean, Leb, if I see you as a horse or a tortoise, it doesn't make you one. So it doesn't mean because black people are seen in a way of poverty, so therefore we have to own it. That it just doesn't make sense. So we black people should own the factor that we did ourselves dirty, and we wake up every single day doing dirty to each other or ourselves, and then blame the white guy. It's like, how arrogant are you to think that white people are out there waking up every single day? It's like, yo, how do we oppress Shepu today? I don't think I had enough oppression last week, so I need to just put in some more oppression. No, that's not what they're thinking. They're thinking about winning every single day. And then black people, it seems like we're thinking about how we lost every single day. Why are we not improving is the wildest thing in my head.
So do you think what you're saying is we need unity? And in terms of unity, how do we get there?
Yo, do we need, of course we need unity. Unity in any culture is important. Just to express that, disjoint and disunity is there in every culture that has unity, for sure. But to sustain it, we got to make sure that even though we have dissonance amongst each other, let's say I'm Jew, white, Portuguese, whatever. If there's disjoint, you still come back together, because if you break apart, that whole society or that whole race falls apart. So it's needed. Why black people wake up every single day and say, you know what, for as long as I'm not successful, I'll sabotage that guy every single day, baffles my mind. I don't understand it. I don't think I possess the intelligence to do it. And people are going to say, but that's easy. It's systematic. The white people brought it there. I'm like, yeah, that may be true, but then we are the system now because we choose our votes. We choose our votes to vote in the people that would lead us correctly, to help us socialize us the right way, or we can do it internally. So definitely we need unity, but I just don't get for the life of me, where does this thinking of us black people that every day we choose to lose every single day?
I think maybe it's just comfortable for black people to sit in that corner, because I think the most important part is you have to do some inner work. People say it's shadow work. You have to do some inner work in order for you to actually break out of the box. And that is the most difficult thing a black person can actually do.
That is true. That is so true. I mean, to be angry means something to that person. People want to feel emotions every day. I mean, we men become like girls. We want to feel emotion every day. And although anger is due to us because of, the environment that we live in, the governance that we live in, but being unnecessarily angry means something to us. But you mentioned something, and just to rephrase it, it's like going to the mirror to say, hey, let me look at the mirror and, face myself to change myself. That's a scary thing. I mean, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and try to fix that. And it feels like 1,000 people are watching. And actually, no one's watching but yourself. But it's scary to look at yourself and face yourself as black people. And you make complete sense when you say that. But I think as individuals at large, we need to say, hey, man, black man, being yourself. How can I be better? What's even interesting, level, is that I don't come from a township. I don't come from a village. I'm proud that I've been privileged from day one. I'm really proud for people that want to make me be ashamed of it. Shame on you. But many of my friends throughout my lifetime came from townships. And when they came from townships and I see politicians or very wealthy people, these are good men, by the way. None of them went back to their township, built their area, paved their roads, make sure that their area looks, so just their street. They don't have to do the whole block or anything. They have not done it because what has happened is that they're like, we're going to leave them behind and we're going to do better for ourselves and leave that community behind. I mean, look at all the politicians that we have today. We only have President Jacob Zuma that did a good road to Nkandla. And we even know Nkandla because of him, and it exists because of him, and his community are doing, rather better than most villages. But look at every single politician, prominent politician we know now. Not one has done for their villages or townships. President Cyril Ramaphosa is alleged that he's from Soweto. Which street in Soweto has he fixed? Which dignity has he brought to that area? So looking in oneself in the mirror you'd rather run away. It's like, let me stay away from these toxic black people. I'm no longer a toxic black man, so I will leave them there. You feel it's better to run away from oneself than to be that. Then the question can be reversed to me, then why don't you go fix, those areas? It's like, well, I could as mayor, but as an individual, I can't because I don't have a block that I come from any township. There's no any township that I can claim and own. It's like, that is my township. So being fully suburban through and through, I can fix my suburb. But what happens to the poor will eventually happen to the rich.
Let me tell you the mentality.
Yeah.
I am both Tswana and Xhosa.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And you're a woman.
Yeah. I am also from the
just let me
township.
qualify that, just so to stereotype it, right? So the stereotype about Tswana and Xhosa women, oh my goodness, and you're both.
I am not the stereotype at all, but I come from a township, and I think a farm, mixed area. But I think the mentality becomes, number one, first person would think, how do I get out of the gassy, or how do I get out of my neighborhood as quick as you can?
That
And
is
that
true. How
happens,
can I
like,
get out quick?
Yeah. Two, okay, I have the money now for me to go back and improve my street, as you say. You think about one, your community will think, oh, you think you are better than us. And then what
You
do they
think you're
do?
white. You think no, it's first you think you're better than us before you're white.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And then it's
graduating.
like white. And then this the basic thing that happens. Yeah, we're going to lawyer. We're going to lawyer him. And that's what we don't want. We don't want that thing of, oh, no, I have 100 rand more than the next person. Yo, they're going to lawyer me. Yo, they're going to lawyer me. You don't want that.
Do you see that's the black mentality? Where do white people get in with this? How are white people involved? You saying that the moment you do better than someone has this idea, I got to get out of this township. Now, if you are able to get out of the township, somebody's like, you ain't leaving. I'll put a hex on you, right? I will steal from you. I'll break from you. And then when you do bad, they're like, you see, you thought you were better than us, eh?
Yeah.
You're back here with us, eh? You wanted to stay with the white people, you're back.
For you.
Yeah, waiting for you. Our black people work so hard to see our demise. Why do we do that? I mean, I'm getting the answers, but I'm not satisfied with the answers. We are choosing this for ourselves. This is a reflection of also our own votes. Does it make sense that I'm like, it's a reflection? I mean, in the beginning, I did mention that, this phone is ringing now. I did mention that we are a reflection of our own vote. Our decision making on our votes is who we are as a people. So we chose our governance. Here we are.
No, 100%. We are comfortable voting the way we are voting because that's all we know.
Yeah.
That's all we've ever known. Hey, in fact, they took us out of apartheid. Let's follow them 2 and 2. Oh, no. I remember this one time, my grandmother, we mentioned another party. Hey, why don't you just try and vote for someone else? You want to bring us back? That's not. And that is the mentality that is there because, okay, fine, we're voting for DA, for instance. Yeah, but we all know at the back of their mind, you still want to take us back to apartheid, So it's hard to change black people's mentality. Hell, it's not just black people for me. It's hard to change human mentality and getting them to
100%.
think forward.
100%. Look, they say old dog cannot be taught new tricks. The unfortunate part is that because 30 years later, say the majority of the people were in their 30s at the time, right? The average age, I could be mistaken. Those people are in their 60s. Their nostalgia is loyalty. You cannot tell them to vote for other people. And they're still a very large group of people, right? They're dying early, meaning that the Gen Zs can come in. But now the problem is that because our reflections of our votes are usually with the old people, asking old people to do bad things to the people. And just to qualify that, is that older people, 50s, 60s, 70s, are going to stand in this long queue to vote for the people that liberated them, but doing bad for them, and then complain about them because they don't know anything else. Do you understand? Whereas the Gen Zs and the millennials, it's not in their culture to vote at all. It's like, look, either way, whether I vote or not, it's still going to be the same. So the vote culture is not there. And Gen Zs have lived in an era where things are just bad and difficult for them. They don't believe that it can make a change. So grandmas, grandpas, older people, they need to get out the way. And Gen Zs and millennials, y'all need to start being responsible and register for the vote. Quite simple.
Then what is loyalty to you?
Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Um, Loyalty in the context of what we're speaking of is just being loyal to something that looks familiar, loyal to something that helped you at one point. So you're loyal to something that saved your life one point, because the ANC did do that. They did save the lives of Black people. And then now that they're stealing from them longer than they've saved their lives, that's what they're loyal to. They're loyal to what looks familiar. They're not loyal to the right thing.
So when we leverage loyalty and doing the right thing for now, not for now as in at this moment, but this generation, how do you weigh it?
What do you mean by that?
So we spoke about the loyalty aspect of it, right? Now you are telling people to change, basically get out of being loyal. Why? How? How do we change that part?
Well, firstly, look where loyalty took you, right? And how do you get out of loyalty? Well, I mean, you could just choose to vote for someone else. I'll tell you who not to vote for. I mean, it's clear. I said do not vote for ANC or DA. And the reason is quite simple, is because we've seen traditionally what they do over a span of time. So why would you want to vote for them over and over? So yeah, it's not a good idea voting for them. So change your loyalty, give others a shot, give Galveston, look, man, I'm the best to ever do it. I'm gonna fix the city. I'm gonna definitely fix the city. Put young people. You know what? Call me Galston Msebetsi Anthony, because people's gonna get jobs out the gate, and you're gonna see my manifesto when it comes out. It's just change the way you think. We Black people are responsible. We make nearly 80% of the population. We should be responsible for our actions.
You're not touching something for me.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is, because you said just vote for somebody else. It's easy to say that. But I think where you need to touch on is educating people on what to look for, or rather, what is outside of the box.
If you're asking me, how would I educate people as opposed to how the government should educate people? I'd say, look, man, I think I did mention it through and through. As I look at the trends, how did ANC, deal with the past 10 years? The 10 years you can remember. Did you get better education? Did your kids that are in the village township go to schools and feel like they get into classes with desks, right? Because these are government schools. No. Did those kids have an opportunity to do a job? No. Did they have a quality education? No. Were they able to get to university should they be exceptional students? No. Then why are you voting for the same people? Like, why? Stop voting for them. Now let's look at DA. DA took care of the suburbs. The suburbs makes a smaller group of South Africans as opposed to the bigger people. So they took care of the suburbs where their constituents live. They did well for those people, right? Right. Okay. So they're happy. I mean, generally white people will not do DA over because they've been well taken care by DA. So meaning their governance ability is amazing. But now the question is, what about the governance ability to their non-constituents, which is the Black people? Now they're becoming the constituents. So if they want to be majority, they have to now start relating to Black people. So now the convenient time is, okay, ANC, you're doing bad. DA will step in. I mean, look how good we did for white people. We'll do good for Black people because you Black people don't know how to take care of yourselves anyway. So they get in there. I said, these two people are people you avoid. Stop it, because you can see it. It's not something I'm telling you. It's something that is real. Don't do it. Not happy with that information?
No, it's not. It's not that I'm not happy. I'm just thinking about the educational part. I think it's well and good to say education, but let me rather put it this way. How do you change the mentality of people to say, okay, yes, this is not working. We've gone the past 10 years doing the same thing, and you guys are just looking like, and that's all that happens, right? But how do you now change the mentality or how people get
You know,
educated
I
enough?
think I actually answered that pretty good because the thing is that what for you asking for is what most South Africans are looking for. They're looking for a sing and dance. Hey, don't vote for the ANC. Don't vote for D. Hey, I'm not going to start that, right? Because the thing is that you're going to fall into the same trick that these people put you in. Look, listen to the information, take it. But it's like, but most people don't understand what you're saying because this is high level education. I'm like, no, it isn't. And stop telling the people this is high level. This is basic education. But they didn't go to the right schools. Okay, then let's put it down their throat. Should the government put a system or a curriculum to say that to not vote for these people? No, it is not how it works. The voter's responsibility is very individualistic, right? It's very individualistic. We as, the movements or political parties, it's our job to try and market ourselves to the people to vote for us. So if you trying to change the culture, I think what better it is than to have like a talk between us and say what will be the right decisions. And the best I can do at this stage is tell people, look at history.
That's what I wanted from you. Exactly that. See, it's great to campaign and do all of these things and say, hey, vote for me, in a good
Yeah.
marketing way. But you now sitting here and saying, let's have a conversation. Because I would say in my head, I like to make an example to say that you are different peas in one pot, right? Biracial. And so the type of education in terms of not going to high school or primary or all those things, but the type of culture of your thinking is quite different from the Black, right? So in other words, I know from myself, I've learned so much about a lot of things from you. This is the part where I like that you're saying, let's have a conversation, because now you get to educate us on certain topics or certain things that we are unaware of.
Level, the wildest thing is that you speak about educating. How do we educate it? The thing, Gen Zs, especially the younger Gen Zs, you're like 27 down, they're already in societies where they're mixed. They're not partaking in all this racist inferiority, but I'm referring to the suburban group, just so you understand. To the suburban group, they're already there. I mean, if you go to Santon or Rosebank, Melrose, Sunning Hill, Waterfall, these large group of people are not partaking in the racial system as now. But here's the problem is that they're the quietest. They're like, hey, keep me out of it. I mean, they're having white girls from the suburban areas too. You know what? Let me give you a crazy thing. I once saw this girl from Potchefstroom, white girl. Like Potchefstroom is like Afrikaans as hell. And we started seeing each other. We kicked it and all. And she said to me, I think we were talking, having a conversation about her parents. It's like, my parents would not be very happy down with a black guy. So I'm like, why? So it's like, yeah, they keep telling us every day that we cannot be with a black guy. And I showed interest in a black guy once, and hey, they told me they want to take me out of the house. And now the thing is that I understood because her parents are in the 50s, 60s. They have a certain mindset. Now, I'll qualify certain things is that they may or may have not been racist in apartheid time, but it seems like they were if you're looking at, pre-trajectory to today. But also that they've been taught that that's the way life should be lived. This is what they've been taught. Now, she being a Gen Z in her mid and early 20s, she does not subscribe to that culture. She's against it. She hasn't even decided if she's racist or not racist, or she just does not subscribe to that culture at all. And so therefore gives her an identity crisis here because she just wants to go about her life, see a black man, white man, colored man, Indian man that she likes and kicks it with that person. But she's rejecting the indoctrination of, that who she must choose based on color. So the Gen Zs are not really living that life. But we, black and white, we trying to put it into black people's like, apartheid was the reason why we're still poor. And then the white people from that generation, you cannot be with the black people. These black people, they're going to steal from you. They'll make sure. They have all these things. The issue is that it's that generation. Vote them out. Get them out of there. That generation is toxic. Now, I'm not saying we're less toxic or anything, but I'm saying at least we don't have that mentality. So we have the decision to make. to vote ourselves in and try to re-socialize our society. That's what I think.
It's quite good that you said it. I think we should not, and we are in no way saying that apartheid was not bad. Apartheid was,
It was all
very,
kinds of bad.
bad. But it's now that, hey, 20, how many years now? Was it 30?
30 years. This is almost as like when you were born.
It was a year after.
Yeah.
No, a year before. So now, how do we now get out of that mentality and also the mentality of, guys, we need to move forward in life. We need to want better for ourselves. We cannot just be comfortable with whatever is going on at the moment, and not just in politics, but our environment.
But I covered that. And I think I covered that rather well. We need to have that conversation amongst ourselves. Look, one needs to know their power. We give power to people in politics to govern us. We hand over that power. Before we hand over that power, are we having the conversation? Let's put it this way. You're my friend slash employee, so to put it, right? You're a good, combination of that. But we have a conversation on how we can better ourselves as a people. We don't see a next door neighbor that's black's like, yeah, we must lawyer that guy. We must lawyer him. Or we don't say that, hey, Boris Fischer is full of it. He's just racist. He's just being racist today. We don't have those conversations. The kind of conversations we have is that we try to be aware of our environment and try to navigate it as best as possible. And where we have issues with our environment, we try to address it so we can propel forward. We don't sit and bicker about the problem. Am I correct?
Correct.
So we need to start developing that attitude. Small minds discuss people.
Oh, careful about saying small mind.
Small minds discuss people. I should not be shy to say this. Bigger minds try to discuss ideas. And even bigger minds find those ideas and try to execute it. Question yourself, which one do you want to be? So if you're talking about Temple, all right, Temple is didn't, then you're probably in that category. But if you like, hey man, Temple is doing such and such a thing, how do we try and navigate Temple into the right way? Because he has the talent, he has the skills. That's the kind of conversation we should be having. That's how we can get ourselves to improve as a people. And this is applicable throughout races.
100%. And I just thought now, it also comes back to the point of not knowing, or us, again, this box issue, not knowing that there's actually more for us out there.
Not knowing, yeah, that's actually deeper than you think. So we black people don't know there's more for us. So let me just explain my privilege real quick. Since childhood, I traveled. But until about 3-4 years ago, I never really traveled to African countries because I wouldn't care for it. I mean, go to Europe, go to Americas, go to Asia. Let's go to all the rich countries, have a good time, come back,
Pause. Why did you have that mentality?
I mean, I grew up rich.
No, but why did you think that Africa was not worth it?
I grew up rich. So I wanted to go to the rich countries. So I wanted to go to places that I'm familiar with, right? And then over time, I realized that, hey, man, I need to explore a little bit more. So inside the South African community, I've been to the poor communities, but it's more or less the same thing, different chapter in South Africa, right? Then I said, hey, one country that always hit my mind was Kenya. So I went to Kenya, Zambia, Uganda, and I see the different types of troubles that is happening there. I'm like, okay, Galston education time, and exploring these things more. And but South Africans, they don't know that's more. Get a passport. Get a passport. Just get it first. Just get it first. Traveling somehow will find you. You will know there's more for you out there once you have the passport. You got to be ready for the opportunity, not have the opportunity and not be ready for it. Imagine right now, I say, Level, as someone who say you don't have a passport, I say, Level, let's go down to America right now. Let's go down to wherever. You can't go. You're not ready for the opportunity. But if you had the passport, which lasts you 10 years, I believe, it lasts you 10 years. When it's time for that opportunity, you're ready. So Our people don't know that there's more because they don't find themselves ready for an opportunity. There's such brilliant people that I hire all the time. I mean, most of my employees, most of my constituents, they don't even have licenses. Licenses. This is a basic thing. I understand the license like 200 and some change, but the driving schools and the coldering people want to make sure they make it 10,000 Rand. But be ready for the opportunity.
Coming back to the opportunity part, we don't even know what type of opportunities they are or what's at our disposal. How do we fix that part?
Get the basics right. Get a license, get a passport. That's the basics.
To be honest, that is more of a luxury for a lot of South Africans.
No. Ooh-wee.
No, you know why?
No,
You know
don't
why? We
talk
can't.
down to my people like
No,
that,
no, no.
man.
Huh?
Don't talk down to my people.
No, but if you think about it, we are now in a system of, the right way of getting your license and learners, driving school, and all of those things, right? We have now combined it into one thing of let's pay Kodak money, then we'll get our license, And that's about, I heard the other day was like 3.5 and all of those things.
For a driver's license.
Yeah, for a
Yeah.
driver's license. Now, again, a luxury. If for somebody that does not know how he's
Yeah, a
going
person
to
is
eat
not
next
eating
week.
at home. They
Yeah.
has to spend 3,500. Person can't do basic things. I mean, if you're a female, you need sanitary, and you either get that or driver's license. Look, either way, you got to make that sacrifice to get that license, right? I'm not encouraging the cool drink culture. The cool drink culture is bad. And before I address that, it is important for you to do what you must get to get those legal documents for you to be able to have opportunities. With those documents, opportunities become open to you. You will not see opportunities without them. You're not ready for them. But now let's talk about the cool drink culture. Why is 200 Rand turning into 3,500 Rand? Black people need to be ashamed of yourself. You need to be ashamed of yourself. Why did I say black people? You need to be ashamed of yourself? Because in this context, I'm not the ones charging people to do things that is basic for them. I'm not charging people for basic things like a driver's license. So those kind of people should be extracted from society. We must extract those ones out. I mean, if 1,000,000 people need licenses and 10 people hold the gate to the licenses, 1,000,000 people can remove those 10 people.
There's two things. One, it's either you're too lazy to actually do the work. Two, which I've heard this before, even if you do the work, when you get there to the driving lesson or the test, they fail you anyway because you didn't give
Cold drink.
Yeah.
Like I said, 1,000,000 people, hell, not even 1,000,000 people, 10,000 people, 5,000 people can remove those people outside of there. It's like we're being had cool drink. What are they going to do to those 5,000 people? What are they going to do? Those are gatekeepers. It's like, black people, how can I make your life be worse because I am black? I want mine to be better. Screw you and the society. Remove them. How? Like, look, first and foremost, what stops people from protesting at drivers' traffic departments is we have to pay cool drink to get our licenses.
Black mentality, if I may say. Yeah, okay, we protest, but where's that gonna go?
Protest again.
Where's that gonna go?
Protest again. Do you understand what protesting does to an economy?
Uh-uh.
Woo! It's if you protest against something for one day, the way you hurt the economy. You hurt I'll tell you this, right? So Germany is one of the most precision countries in the world. So I stayed in Germany for 6 months, right? And what would happen is that if petrol prices go up by a quarter of a euro, do you know the Germans would wake up early in the morning, go to the highway, get their beers, because Germans drink their beers, stand in the highway block and have a block party there. We're not going to work until that prices go down. And guess what? The more money those prices go down, they go right back to work. The thing is, the power is in the hands of the people. Stop acting like, the prices are, what we're gonna, we've been marching.
You know what you said is actually correct. See, now there comes the educational part is how do we not know that that is possible? How do we not know that protesting actually hurts the economy?
Well, we're not taught. And we need to protest correctly. Do you know that if today, let's say it's a Monday, weekday, and we're ready to work, and everybody does not leave their houses, do you know the damage you've done to the economy just for that one day?
Disclaimer, not that we are encouraging
Yeah,
that.
we're not encouraging this kind of stuff. But then you put in a place where everybody has to renegotiate. But then they'll say, but all the foreigners are going to come in and take those spaces in our behalf. It's like, should you do that? We're going to make sure we stay here. It will damage the economy more because the foreign people, especially illegal ones, can only cover certain parts of jobs, not entirely. It's not like illegal foreigners. There's a whole bunch of illegal accountants coming in. It's not like a whole bunch of illegal lawyers and illegal engineers are coming in. It's not the case. So you could damage the economy by that, and you force people to act. You force the government to act. You force private businesses to act. You force them by doing nothing, just sitting here. The question is, okay, but then if we don't go, we don't eat. It's like, yeah, maybe not eating for a couple of days is worth making sure that you eat better for a longer time.
You know, I just realized you're actually touching on something very painful in a good way. You are now showing people how to get their power in education or in educating themselves or the knowledge they need to build.
Mhm.
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, because I think I wanted to make this a whole discussion and all, by having a conversation, but it seemed like it became a question and answer. But I think to just close everything, I'm hoping that the spectators or the viewers rather watch this to the end, and y'all guys could tell me how we can go about doing this so it can be a better conversation and all. So it's up to you guys, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure that you put in the comment section, what you think. And do you want to see Lebu Kepadisa, the gatekeeper to me? Well, there's a lot of gatekeepers. He's not the only one to me. But, the jokes aside is that I need y'all to tell me what is needed because I am a strong leader. I am who I am. I do need some tweaking here and there. That's for sure. But the thing is, you need to tell me how you want that so that I can deliver for you. I still stand as the mayor candidate of the city of Johannesburg, and I'm going all the way. But it's up to you to show me what your needs are so I can deliver it. From the best to ever do it.